My parents are gold diggers who taught me to love people for their wallets, not their hearts. Like, this was actual dinner table conversation growing up. My mom would be cutting up chicken and she'd be like, "Make sure you marry someone with a good job." And my dad would nod like she just said something super wise. But it wasn't just that normal parent thing where they want you to be stable. It was way more specific. When I was like 12, my mom sat me down and showed me how to look up what different jobs pay. She pulled up some salary website and was like, "See? Doctors make this much. Lawyers make this much. You want to date people in these categories." I remember thinking it was weird, but also I was 12, so I just kind of went with it. My dad was even worse. He'd point out cars in parking lots and be like, "See that BMW? That's the kind of person you want to be around." Or we'd be at the grocery store and he'd see someone paying with a black credit card and he'd whisper, "Pay attention to details like that." By the time I was in high school, it was just normal. My parents would ask about people I was hanging out with, but not like, "Are they nice?" or "Do they treat you well?" It was always, "What do their parents do? And what kind of house do they live in?" I started dating this guy named Colin when I was 17. He was super sweet, like brought me coffee before school and remembered my favorite songs type of sweet. But he worked at a pizza place and drove his mom's old Corolla. I told my parents about him and my mom literally frowned. She didn't even try to hide it. "What are his plans?" she asked. "He wants to do audio engineering," I said. My dad looked up from his phone. "That's not a real career path. You're wasting your time." I broke up with Colin 2 weeks later. Not because I wanted to, because every time I came home my parents would make these comments about how I was setting myself up for struggle and ignoring everything they taught me. It got exhausting. College was worse. My mom would literally Google the majors of guys I mentioned and send me articles about earning potential. "Just so you have all the information," she'd text. My dad started giving me an actual allowance in exchange for going on dates with appropriate people, like I was doing a job or something. I met this guy Austin at a party junior year. He was in pre-law, drove a Lexus, his parents bought him, wore nice watches. My parents loved him before they even met him. When I brought him home for dinner, my mom made her fancy roast and my dad pulled out wine he'd been saving. Austin was fine. Like objectively, there was nothing wrong with him. He was polite and smart and had his whole life planned out. But when he talked, I found myself just nodding along instead of actually listening. And when he kissed me, it felt like checking something off a list. We dated for almost 2 years. My parents talked about him like he was already part of the family. My mom started mentioning wedding venues randomly. My dad told me I was finally making smart choices. Then one night, Austin and I were at dinner and he was talking about the firm he wanted to work at after graduation and the apartment he wanted to get downtown, and I just realized I couldn't remember the last time we talked about something that actually mattered. Like, not career stuff or money stuff, just regular things people who care about each other talk about. I went home that night and my mom was still awake watching TV. I sat down next to her and said, "I don't think I actually like Austin." She muted the TV. "What do you mean you don't like him? He's perfect for you." "But I don't feel anything when I'm with him," I said. "Feelings change," my mom said. "Security doesn't. Do you know how lucky you are to find someone like that?" I wanted to argue, but I was so tired. So I just went to bed. Austin proposed 3 months later. Nice restaurant. Ring his mom helped him pick out. The whole thing. I said yes because everyone was watching and I didn't know what else to do. My parents cried happy tears. His parents took us out to celebrate. Everyone was so excited. Except I wasn't. A week later, a USB drive showed up in my mailbox with no return address. I almost threw it away, but something made me plug it into my laptop. It was a video file dated from 6 months ago. Security camera footage from what looked like a restaurant. I watched my parents sitting at a table with Austin's parents. They were discussing me like I was a business transaction. My mom said, "She'll do whatever we tell her to. She always has." Then Austin walked into frame and sat down with them. They were planning the whole thing. I sat there staring at my laptop screen for I don't know how long. The video kept playing, but I couldn't hear anything over the ringing in my ears. My hands were shaking so bad I had to put down my coffee mug before I dropped it. The footage showed them laughing. Actually laughing. My dad was pouring wine for Austin's dad. My mom had this huge smile while she talked about wedding dates. And Austin, God, Austin, was nodding along like they were discussing a merger, not a marriage. I rewound it, watched it again. My mom's exact words were burned into my brain now. "She'll do whatever we tell her to. She always has. The girl doesn't have a backbone. Never has." Austin's mom responded with something about how that was perfect, because Austin needed someone manageable. Manageable. Like I was a pet or something. The timestamp said this happened 6 months ago. 6 months before Austin proposed. They'd planned everything. The restaurant, the timing, probably even what he was supposed to say. I checked the USB drive for more files. There were 3 others. The first one was from even earlier. Maybe a year ago. My parents meeting with Austin's parents at our house. My dad was showing them financial documents. I could see my student loan statements, my bank account info, stuff I'd never given them permission to share. Austin's dad said something about wanting to make sure there weren't any surprises. My dad laughed and said I was clean. No debt except school loans. No bad habits. Raised right. They were vetting me. Like a used car. The second video was from a coffee shop. Just Austin and my mom. She was coaching him on things I liked. My favorite flowers, the music I listened to, how I always ordered my coffee. Austin was taking actual notes on his phone. Every sweet thing he'd ever done. Every time he seemed to just know what I wanted. It was all scripted. The third video was the worst. It was Austin with some girl in what looked like his apartment. They were kissing. She was wearing his shirt. The timestamp was from 2 months ago. 2 months after he proposed to me. The girl pulled back and said something like, "When are you going to tell her?" Austin's response made me want to throw up. After the wedding. Once everything's secure. My parents need this connection with her family. After that, it doesn't matter. I slammed my laptop shut. Sat there in my dark bedroom trying to breathe. My engagement ring felt like it was burning my finger. Who sent this? Who would have access to all this footage? And why now? I opened my laptop again and checked the USB drive properties. It had been created 3 days ago. So someone had been holding onto this footage and compiled it recently. Someone who wanted me to know. My phone buzzed. Text from Austin. "Still on for dinner tomorrow? My mom wants to talk about venue options." I stared at it. Tomorrow was Saturday. We were supposed to meet his parents at some expensive steakhouse to look at wedding planning folders his mom had prepared. She'd probably been planning my wedding before Austin even proposed. Another text came in. This one from my mom. "Remember to wear that blue dress tomorrow. Austin's mother loves you in blue. And bring the guest list we started. Her father wants to see it." I looked at my guest list draft on my desk. Half the names were people my parents insisted on inviting. Business associates, my dad's golf buddies, people I'd met maybe once. Something cold settled in my chest. Not anger yet, just this weird clarity. I got up and started going through my room. Found my journal from sophomore year of college. Flipped through pages about meeting Austin. I'd written about how weird it was that he showed up at the exact coffee shop I always studied at. How he somehow always knew when I'd be there. At the time, I thought it was romantic. Fate or whatever. Now I realize someone probably told him my schedule. I found my old phone. The one I used before I upgraded last year. Charged it up and went through old texts. Found messages from my mom from back then. "Did you see that boy in your economics class? The one with the nice car? You should talk to him." That was Austin. She'd seen him before I even noticed him. Probably knew his whole family situation already. My door opened. I jumped. My mom stood there holding a laundry basket. "Honey, I'm doing whites. Do you have anything?" she asked. I stared at her. This woman who'd raised me. Made my lunches. Drove me to soccer practice. Helped me with homework. This same woman who'd sold me out like a used car. "I'm good." She looked at my laptop, then at me. "You okay? You look pale. Just tired." She set down the basket and came over. Put her hand on my forehead like she used to when I was little. "You're not getting sick, are you? You can't be sick for dinner tomorrow. Austin's parents are so excited." I moved away from her touch. "I'm fine." She picked up her basket. "Okay. Well, get some rest. Big day tomorrow." She left, closing the door behind her. I sat there thinking about every birthday, every Christmas, every family dinner. Were any of those real? Or was it all just training? Grooming me to be the perfect product to sell off? My phone buzzed again. Text from an unknown number. "You're welcome. Ask your parents about the Riverside deal." I stared at it. Typed back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No response. I Googled Riverside deal with my parents' names. Nothing came up. Tried adding Austin's parents' names. Still nothing. But my dad did commercial real estate, and Austin's dad owned a development company. My mom had mentioned something months ago about my dad working on something big. Something that would set us up forever. I went downstairs. My parents were in the living room watching some HGTV show. My dad had his laptop open, probably still working even though it was almost 10 at night. "Dad, what's the Riverside deal?" He looked up fast. My mom's head turned. They both stared at me. "Where did you hear that?" my dad asked. His voice was careful. Too careful. "Someone mentioned it." "What is it?" My parents looked at each other. My mom stood up. "Sweetie, that's just boring business stuff. Nothing for you to worry about." "I'm asking though." My dad closed his laptop. "It's a property development project. Austin's father's company and my firm are working together on it. We're developing the old Riverside industrial area into luxury condos. How long have you been working on it?" "About 2 years." "Why?" 2 years. The same amount of time I'd been with Austin. The same amount of time my parents had been pushing us together. "Is the deal contingent on me marrying Austin?" Silence. The TV was still playing, but nobody was watching it anymore. "Don't be ridiculous," my mom said. But her voice was off, higher pitched than normal. "Answer the question." My dad sighed, rubbed his face. "It's complicated." "Uncomplicate it." He looked at my mom. She gave this tiny shake of her head, but he talked anyway. "Austin's father wanted assurance that our families would be permanently connected. Marriage between you and Austin was part of the agreement. It ensures neither party will back out or act against the other's interests. So you sold me." "We didn't sell you," my mom said quickly. "We arranged a beneficial situation for everyone. You get a successful husband from a good family. We get a business partnership that will secure all of our futures, including yours. Did you ever plan to tell me?" "There was nothing to tell," my dad said. "You love Austin. You said yes to his proposal. Everything worked out naturally. Naturally? I felt like screaming. You manipulated every part of it. You set it up like I was a chess piece. My mom crossed her arms. We gave you guidance. That's what parents do. You're being dramatic. I saw the videos. Both of them froze. My mom's face went white. My dad stood up. What videos? He asked. All of them. The restaurant meeting, the coffee shop coaching session, the financial documents, everything. My dad's jaw clenched. Who sent you those? Does it matter? You did all of it. You planned my whole life like I didn't even exist. We did what was best for you, my mom said. Her voice was sharp now. You've always been too soft, too emotional. You would have ended up with someone like that Colin boy working a dead-end job, struggling to pay bills. We saved you from that. I loved Colin. You were 17. You didn't know what love was. And you do? Is this love? I gestured between them. Using your daughter to close a real estate deal? My dad stepped forward. Watch your tone. We're still your parents. Are you? Or are you just investors managing their asset? My mom's face got red. After everything we've done for you, we paid for your education. We gave you a good life. We introduced you to a quality man from a good family. And this is how you repay us? I didn't ask for any of it if it came with strings attached. Everything comes with strings, my dad said. That's how the world works. You're old enough to understand that. I looked at both of them. These strangers wearing my parents' faces. Did you ever actually care about me? Or was I always just part of a long-term business strategy? My mom's expression softened slightly. For a second, I thought maybe she'd say something real. Something that would make this less awful. We care about your future, she said. We care about making sure you're secure and provided for. That's what matters. Not I love you. Not you're our daughter and we want you to be happy. Just security. Provisions. Things. I'm calling off the engagement. You will do no such thing, my dad said. His voice had that tone. The one he used when he meant business. We have contracts. Legal agreements. If you back out now, I lose everything. The firm. The house. Everything. That's not my problem. It is your problem, my mom said. You think you can just walk away? Austin's family will destroy us. They have lawyers. Real ones. Your father signed personally guaranteed documents. They'll take everything from us if this deal falls apart. Again, not my problem. You made those deals. You face the consequences. My dad moved closer. I'd never seen him look at me like that before. Angry, sure. Disappointed, definitely. But this was different. This was cold. You'll do what we say, he said quietly. Or you'll lose everything too. Your car? We bought it. Your apartment? We pay rent. Your phone? Our plan. Your credit cards? Our accounts. Everything you have came from us. You walk away from this. You walk away with nothing. I felt my stomach drop. He was right. I'd never had to pay for anything major. They'd always handled it. Said they wanted to help me focus on school, on building my future. They'd made sure I'd be dependent. Fine, I said. Take it all. My mom laughed. Actual laugh. And go where? Do what? You have $1,700 in your personal account. You think that'll last? She knew my bank account balance. Of course she did. They probably had access to everything. I'll figure it out. You'll come crawling back in a week, my dad said. You've never had to struggle. Never had to actually work for anything. You don't know how. Then I guess I'll learn. I went back upstairs, grabbed my laptop and phone, found my old backpack from school and started throwing in clothes. Not everything. Just what I needed. My mom appeared in the doorway. Stop this right now. You're being childish. I kept packing. Where will you even go? None of your friends have space for you. And we'll call them anyway. Tell them what you're doing. They won't take you in. She was probably right. My friends were from college. Friends my parents had approved of. Friends with families who did business with my parents. They'd all take my parents' side. I'll figure it out. I grabbed my jewelry box. Started sorting through what was actually mine versus what my parents had given me. Not much fell in the first category. My phone rang. Austin. I declined it. It rang again immediately. Declined again. Then texts started coming. Why won't you answer? My mom said, You're freaking out? Whatever your parents told you, we can talk about it. Please. Just answer. I blocked his number. My dad came to my doorway now. He was holding papers. Before you do something stupid, read these. He tossed them on my bed. I picked them up. Legal documents. My student loan paperwork. They were in my parents' names, not mine. They'd taken out the loans for me, but I'd signed something agreeing to pay them back, with interest. You walk out that door. These become due immediately, my dad said. All $73,000. That was the agreement. I'd never read the full paperwork, just signed where they told me to. Trusted them. You'd actually do that? Sue your own daughter? I'd protect my family's interests, he said. You're choosing to stop being part of this family. That comes with consequences. My hands were shaking again. $73,000, plus rent, car payments, phone bill, insurance, credit cards. They'd made sure I couldn't leave. I looked at both my parents standing in my doorway, watching me like I was a business problem to solve. I'll pay it back, I said. Every cent. It'll take time, but I'll do it. My mom shook her head. You don't get it. This isn't just about money. You embarrass this family. You humiliate Austin's family. There will be consequences. Legal ones. His father doesn't lose. Ever. He'll make sure you never work in the city again. Never get approved for an apartment. Never pass a background check. You'll be blacklisted from everything. You can't do that. We can, my dad said. And we will. Unless you stop this nonsense. Put your things away and show up tomorrow night, ready to smile and plan your wedding. I sat down on my bed, the weight of it all pressing down. They'd built a cage so perfect I'd never even seen the bars until now. My phone buzzed. Text from that unknown number again. Check your email. Sent you something. I opened my email. New message from a Proton Mail address. No subject. Just a link to a shared folder. I clicked it. It opened to dozens of files. Bank statements. Legal documents. Email chains. All involving my parents and Austin's family. One document was labeled Marriage Agreement. I opened it. It was a contract between my parents and Austin's parents, dated from 3 years ago, outlining terms for our marriage, financial arrangements, business considerations. There was even a clause about children. How many? When? Like breeding stock. My name was on it. I'd never signed it, but my parents had, agreeing to deliver me like a package. Another document caught my eye. Email from Austin to his dad from 2 months ago. She's getting suspicious about the other arrangements. Should I pull back until after we're married? Other arrangements, plural. I found more emails. Austin had multiple girls he was seeing, different cities. His dad knew. Encouraged it. Said boys will be boys, and I didn't need to know. There were also emails from my parents to Austin's parents offering me like a product listing. My education, my appearance, my docile nature. My mom had literally written she's been conditioned to be compliant. I read that line over and over. Conditioned, like a dog. I forwarded everything to myself from 3 different email addresses. Saved copies to a cloud drive my parents didn't know about. Downloaded them to my laptop. Then I went downstairs. My parents were back in the living room, talking in low voices. They stopped when they saw me. I'm going to dinner tomorrow, I said. My mom's face relaxed. Good. You're being smart. But we need to talk about some things. About the business deal. About the contracts. My dad nodded. We can discuss it after you've calmed down. I'm calm now. I went back upstairs. Called my bank. Asked them to send me full documentation of all my accounts and any co-signers. They said it would take a few days. I asked them to rush it. Then I started researching lawyers. Not the ones my dad knew. Not anyone who'd done business with either family. I searched for attorneys who specialized in family law and coercion cases. Found one with good reviews. Office on the other side of town. Called and left a message. Said I needed a consultation about a situation with my parents. Left my email but not my phone number. Didn't want my parents seeing a lawyer's number on the phone bill they paid for. My laptop dinged. Email back from the lawyer's office. Appointment available Monday at 10. I confirmed it. Then I called my bank again. Asked about opening a new account with a different bank. They gave me information on what I'd need. I made a list. Birth certificate. Social security card. ID. Did I even have access to those? My parents kept all our important documents in a safe in their bedroom. I waited until they went to bed. Listened for my dad's snoring. Then crept into their room. The safe was in their closet, hidden behind my mom's shoe rack. I'd seen the combination once when I was younger. Dad was bad about changing codes. Used the same one for everything. My birthday. How ironic. I opened it carefully. Found a folder with my name on it. Inside was everything. Birth certificate, social security card, passport, immunization records, even my baby hospital bracelet. There was also a copy of those student loan documents. And something else. Another contract. This one was titled Parental Support Agreement. I read through it fast. It was dated from when I graduated high school. I didn't remember signing it, but there was my signature. It outlined all the support my parents would provide through college. But buried in the legal language was a clause. If I failed to follow their guidance on major life decisions, including career choices and marriage, I would be required to repay all support with interest. The amount came to over $200,000. Career choices and marriage. They'd been planning this since I was 18. I took photos of everything with my phone, put the originals back exactly how I found them, closed the safe, got back to my room and emailed everything to myself, to multiple accounts, uploaded to 3 different cloud services. Then I searched for the person who sent me the USB drive, that unknown number. I reverse searched it. Nothing came up. Tried running it through one of those people finder sites. Still nothing. It was probably a burner phone. But whoever it was, they'd saved me, given me a way out, even if it was complicated. I pulled up my messages with Austin, read through months of conversations, looking for cracks, for moments when he was real versus performing. I couldn't find any. Every sweet message, every I love you, every plan for our future, all of it felt fake now. How do you mourn something that never existed? My door opened again. I jumped. My mom stood there in her bathrobe. Can't sleep? She asked. Just thinking. She came in and sat on my bed. smoothed down my hair like she used to when I was little. I know tonight was hard, but you'll understand someday. When you're older, when you have kids of your own. Will I? You will. You'll see that sometimes love means making hard choices, protecting your children's futures even when they don't understand. Is that what you think this is? Love? She looked at me, really looked at me. For a second, I thought maybe she'd admit it, say it out loud, that this was about money, not love, about business, not family. Yes, she said, everything we've done has been because we love you, because we want the best for you. Did you love me when you listed my qualities like a product description? Her face tightened. You read the emails, all of them. Then you saw that we've been working for years to secure your future, to make sure you'd never struggle like we did. You never struggled. Grandpa gave Dad his business. Grandma paid for your degree. She stood up. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what it's like to have nothing. And I never will, because you made sure I'd always have something, as long as I did what you wanted. That's how families work. No, that's how businesses work. Families are supposed to care about each other. We do care. You care about what I can get you. There's a difference. She walked to my door, stopped. Tomorrow night, you'll smile. You'll be excited about wedding planning. You'll make Austin's parents happy. And then this will all blow over. You'll forget about this little tantrum. It's not a tantrum. Yes, it is. You're scared. Marriage is scary. But you'll get through it. We all do. She left, closed the door softly. I sat there thinking about her words. We all do. Like she'd made the same choice. Married my dad for the right reasons instead of the real ones. Had me as part of some bigger plan. Was any of my life real? Or was it all just pieces of other people's strategies? I opened my laptop. Started searching for apartments I could afford on a minimum wage budget. Nothing in my area. Everything was too expensive. But on the outskirts of town, near the factory district, I found a few studios listed for cheap. Really cheap. Probably terrible. But available. I bookmarked them. Then looked up job openings. Entry level. No degree required. Found listings for retail, food service, warehouse work. None of it was what my parents had planned for me. What they'd trained me for. But it was mine. My choice. Not part of anyone's contract. Saturday morning came. My parents acted like nothing had happened. My mom made pancakes. My dad read the newspaper. They talked about the weather. I ate breakfast and went back upstairs. Got dressed in the blue dress my mom wanted me to wear. Put on the jewelry Austin had given me for our 6-month anniversary. Did my makeup how his mom liked it. Played the part. My phone rang. Austin. I answered this time. Hey, there you are. I was worried when you weren't responding last night. Sorry. I was tired. No worries. You excited for tonight? My mom has this whole presentation planned. She's been working on it for weeks. I bet she has. You okay? You sound weird. I'm fine. Just nervous. You know how I get. He laughed. You're adorable when you're nervous. Don't worry. My parents love you. This is just a formality. Right. Formality. I'll pick you up at 6. Actually, I'll meet you there. You sure? I don't mind coming to get you. I have some errands to run first. Easier if I just meet you. Okay. See you at 6. Love you. He waited for me to say it back. I used to say it automatically. Now, the words stuck in my throat. See you at 6, I said and hung up. My mom appeared in my doorway. Was that Austin? Yeah. Confirming tonight. Good. Remember, be enthusiastic. His mother needs to feel like you're grateful for this opportunity. Opportunity, not marriage, not love, opportunity. I will. She smiled, walked away satisfied. I spent the day preparing, printed out all the documents I'd found, made a folder, wrote down everything I knew, every detail, every date, every manipulation. At 5, I got in my car, drove to the restaurant, got there early, asked for the private room Austin's parents had reserved. They weren't there yet. Good. I set up my laptop, connected it to the TV screen in the room, pulled up the video files, the emails, the contracts, everything. Then I waited. Austin arrived first, kissed my cheek. You look beautiful. That dress is perfect. Thanks. His parents came in, hugs all around. My parents showed up right after. More hugs. Everyone sat down, started looking at menus. Austin's mom pulled out her 3-ring binder. I'm so excited to show you what I've been working on. I think you're going to love these venue options. Actually, I said, before we start, there's something I want everyone to see. I picked up the remote, turned on the TV. The restaurant security footage started playing, the one showing our 4 parents meeting, discussing me like a contract term. Everyone froze. What is this? Austin's dad asked. Keep watching. My mom's voice came through the speakers. She'll do whatever we tell her to. She always has. My mom's face went white. My dad reached for the remote. I held it away from him. Give me that, he said. Not yet. The video played on. Their laughter, their planning, the financial discussions. Austin stared at the screen, at his parents, at my parents. What is this? It's the truth, I said. The real reason we're together. His mom stood up. Turn that off right now. I switched to the next video. The coffee shop coaching session. My mom teaching Austin how to manipulate me. Austin's face changed, from confused to something else. Not quite ashamed, more like caught. This is taken out of context, my dad said. Really? What's the context that makes it okay? I pulled out the printed contracts, handed them to Austin. Read page 3, the section about children. He read it. I watched his face. He wasn't surprised enough. He'd seen this before. You knew? I said. He looked up at me. His parents. Back at me. It's not what you think. What do I think, Austin? It's just, our families wanted to make sure we were compatible, that we'd work well together. Compatible. Like business partners. Like family. It's how things are done in our circles. Our circles. I laughed. I'm not part of your circles. I'm a product you bought. His dad stood up now. Big, intimidating guy. That's enough. You're being hysterical. Am I? I switched to the next video. Austin with the other girl. The conversation about waiting until after the wedding. Austin's mom gasped. His dad's face went red. Not embarrassed. Red. Angry red. Where did you get this? Austin's dad demanded. Does it matter? It's real. All of it's real. Austin reached for my hand. I pulled away. Babe, that was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. That's what you told her. About me. That I didn't mean anything. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? He didn't answer. My mom tried next. Sweetie, please. You're making a scene. Let's discuss this privately. Why? So you can manipulate me more? Tell me what to think? How to feel? We're trying to protect you, my dad said. From what? Being happy? Making my own choices? Austin's dad moved toward the door. This dinner is over. Clearly this girl isn't mature enough for marriage. We'll be terminating our agreements. Good, I said. My dad grabbed his arm. Wait, we can fix this. She's just having pre-wedding jitters. She just humiliated both our families. Showed private agreements. There's nothing to fix. My dad looked at me. Actually looked desperate. Please, you don't understand what you're doing. If this deal falls apart, I lose everything. I know. You'd do that to me? To your mother? You're not my family. Family doesn't trade their kids for business deals. My mom started crying. Real tears this time. Not manipulative ones. We did this for you, so you'd be secure, so you'd never have to worry. I'd rather worry and be free than be secure and owned. I picked up my laptop, my folder of evidence, headed for the door. Austin followed me. Where are you going? Away from all of you. You can't just leave. We're engaged. I pulled off the ring, handed it to him. Not anymore. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Maybe, but at least it'll be my mistake. I walked out of that restaurant, got in my car, drove away. My phone started blowing up immediately. Calls from my parents, from Austin, from his parents. I drove to that studio apartment I'd bookmarked. The landlord had said to call anytime. I called. He said he could meet me in 20 minutes. The apartment was worse than the photos. Tiny, stained carpet, weird smell, but it was available immediately. Month to month, no credit check required. I signed the lease, paid first month and deposit with the money in my personal account. Took the keys. Then I went to a big box store, bought an air mattress, some sheets, basic kitchen stuff, cleaning supplies, everything I'd need to start over. By midnight, I was sitting on my new air mattress in my new terrible apartment eating pizza from the place downstairs. No furniture, no pictures on the walls, no comfort, but it was mine. My choice. My life. My phone was still off. I knew what waited when I turned it back on. Angry messages, threats about the student loans, the support agreements, lawyers. Let them come. I had copies of everything now. Proof of their manipulation. Evidence of coercion. A lawyer appointment on Monday. I wasn't naive. This was going to be hard. Really hard. I'd probably lose the legal battles. End up in debt for years. Have to work terrible jobs. Struggle to pay bills. But I'd be free. I thought about Colin. Wondered what he was doing now. If he still did audio engineering. If he was happy. I thought about the person who sent me the USB drive. Who saved me by exposing the truth. I still didn't know who it was. But I owed them everything. I pulled out my laptop. Sent an email to that Proton Mail address. Thank you. You saved my life. If you ever want to tell me who you are, I'd like to say thank you in person. I hit send. Didn't expect a response. Then I opened a document. Started writing. Everything that happened. Every detail. Every manipulation. All of it. Not for legal purposes. Just for me. So, I'd remember. So, I'd never let anyone control me like that again. The pizza was cold. The apartment was depressing. I had no idea what tomorrow looked like. But I was free. Finally. Actually free. And that was worth everything. Update 1. Monday morning, I woke up on my air mattress with my neck killing me. The apartment looked even worse in daylight. There were water stains on the ceiling I hadn't noticed before. The window didn't close all the way. Traffic noise from the street below started at like 5 in the morning, but I'd slept better than I had in months. No parents checking on me. No texts from Austin. I turned my phone back on. 83 notifications. I deleted them all without reading. Blocked my parents' numbers. Blocked Austin and his parents. Blocked everyone connected to that life. Then I got ready for the lawyer appointment. wore the one professional outfit I'd brought with me. Took 3 buses to get to her office because my car was still technically in my parents' name and I didn't want to risk them reporting it stolen. The lawyer's name was Patricia Vance. Her office was small but clean. She was maybe 50 with gray hair she didn't bother dyeing and sharp eyes that didn't miss anything. I sat down and pulled out my folder. All the printed documents, the videos on my laptop, everything. "Start from the beginning," she said. I did. Took almost an hour to explain everything. She took notes, didn't interrupt, just listened. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. "This is one of the most clear-cut cases of parental coercion I've ever seen. Can you help me? I can try, but I need to be honest with you. Your parents have resources, money for good lawyers, connections. This won't be easy. I know. And you're prepared to lose? Because there's a real possibility we don't win everything. You might end up owing them money. A lot of it. I'm prepared." She nodded. "Okay. First thing we need to do is file for emancipation from those contracts. The support agreement, the loan documents. We'll argue they were signed under duress. That you weren't given full disclosure about what you were agreeing to. Will that work? Maybe. Depends on the judge. Some are sympathetic to these situations. Others believe contracts are contracts regardless of family dynamics. What about the business deal? Between our families? That's trickier. You weren't a party to that contract. Your parents were. So technically, you're not responsible for it falling apart. But they'll argue I am. That I deliberately sabotaged it. They can argue that. But proving it legally is different. You had every right to refuse to marry Austin. That's not sabotage. That's autonomy." She pulled out some forms, started filling them out. "I'm going to need some time to prepare our case. Probably a few weeks. In the meantime, you need to document everything. Every contact they make, every threat, every communication. Screenshot it all. Save it all. Okay? And you need income. What's your employment situation?" "Non-existent. I haven't worked since a summer job in college." "Start looking. Anywhere will do. You need to show you're self-sufficient. That you're not dependent on them anymore." I left her office with a stack of legal documents and a sense of purpose. First priority was a job. I spent the rest of Monday walking around my neighborhood filling out applications. Coffee shops, retail stores, fast food places, a grocery store, a gas station. I wasn't picky. By Tuesday afternoon, I got a call back. The grocery store needed someone for evening shifts. Stocking shelves. Minimum wage. I took it. Wednesday, I started training. The work was physical, repetitive, kind of mindless. But it was mine. Money I earned. Not money with strings attached. My supervisor was this tired-looking guy named Glenn who'd clearly been working retail too long. He showed me how to use the inventory system and left me alone to stock produce. "You'll get the hang of it," he said. "Most people quit after a week. If you last a month, you'll get a 25-cent raise." 25 cents. My parents spent more than that on their morning coffee. But I nodded like it was significant. Because to me, it was... Thursday morning, I got an email from Patricia. My parents had responded to our legal filing. They were countersuing, claiming I'd stolen documents from their home, that I'd damaged their business reputation, that I owed them for years of support. The amount they wanted was staggering, $300,000, plus legal fees. I sat in my depressing apartment staring at that number, $300,000. I made $9 an hour. Working 40 hours a week, which I wasn't even getting yet, I'd make less than $20,000 a year before taxes. It would take me 15 years to pay that off, and that's if I didn't need to eat or have a place to live. I called Patricia. "Did you see this?" "I saw it. It's a scare tactic. They're trying to force you to back down." "What if they win? Then we appeal. And if we lose the appeal, we negotiate. Set up a payment plan. Bankruptcy is an option too." Bankruptcy. At 23 years old. Perfect. "Don't panic," Patricia said. "This is going to be a long process. They're starting aggressive because they're worried. If they weren't worried, they wouldn't be fighting this hard. Why would they be worried? They have all the power. Not all of it. You have the truth. And you have evidence. That counts for something." Friday, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't know. Profile picture was just a blank silhouette. The message said, "How are you holding up?" I stared at it. Typed back, "Who is this?" "Someone who understands what you're going through." "Are you the one who sent me the USB drive?" No response. I tried again. "Why did you help me?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally, a response came through. "Because someone should have helped me." "Helped you with what?" "Same situation. Different families. I wasn't as brave as you. I went through with my wedding." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You did what I couldn't. That matters. Can I ask who you are? Better if you don't know. But if you need anything, information, resources, just someone to talk to, I'm here. Thank you." The conversation ended. I saved the whole exchange. Added it to my evidence folder even though I didn't know if it would matter. Saturday, I worked a double shift at the grocery store. My feet were killing me by the end. My back hurt. My hands were dry from all the cold produce. But I'd made $144. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I walked home through my sketchy neighborhood, past the pawn shop with bars on the windows, the liquor store that was always busy, The laundromat where people hung out way longer than it took to do laundry. This was my life now. So different from the one my parents had planned. No nice car, no engagement ring, no future as a lawyer's wife in a big house. Just me, in a terrible apartment, working for minimum wage, fighting a legal battle I'd probably lose, and somehow, I was happier than I'd been in years. Sunday, I went to a thrift store, bought actual furniture, a used couch that smelled weird but was comfortable, a small table and 2 chairs, some lamps, dishes. For less than $200, I made my apartment feel like a home. That night, I sat on my weird-smelling couch eating ramen and scrolling through job listings. Found a second part-time position, server at a diner. Applied immediately. Got a call back Monday. They wanted me to start Wednesday. Patricia called Tuesday with an update. Your parents have requested mediation. They want to settle this outside of court. Meaning what? Meaning they want to negotiate. Probably try to get you to agree to something without a trial. Should I do it? That's up to you. But I'd recommend it. Mediation is less expensive. And if we can reach an agreement, you won't have to go through a trial. What would they want? Money. An NDA probably. Assurance you won't spread this story publicly. They'll want to protect their reputation. I don't have money to give them. We'll see what they propose. The mediation is scheduled for next Thursday. Wednesday, I started at the diner. The work was harder than the grocery store. Customers were demanding. My feet hurt worse, but the tips were decent. I made almost $80 in a 5-hour shift. The cook, a guy named Ramon, showed me how to balance multiple tables. You'll get better, he said. First week is always rough. Does it get easier? Not really, but you get used to it. Thursday came. The mediation was at a neutral office downtown. I took 2 buses and walked the last mile because I couldn't afford the parking. Patricia met me outside. Remember, stay calm. Don't react emotionally, no matter what they say. This is about negotiation, not vindication. Okay, we went inside. Conference room with a long table, mediator at the head, my parents on one side with their lawyer, me and Patricia on the other. I hadn't seen my parents since the restaurant. My mom looked thinner, dark circles under her eyes. My dad looked angry, tense, like he was barely holding it together. The mediator started with standard introduction stuff, rules of the mediation, confidentiality, goals. Then my parents' lawyer started talking, outlined their position. I had taken advantage of their generosity, stolen private documents, damaged their business relationships, cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, Patricia countered. I had been coerced since childhood, manipulated into a relationship, had no legal obligation to my parents' business deals. The mediator asked my parents to propose a settlement. Their lawyer slid papers across the table. I read through them. They wanted me to sign an NDA, never speak about the situation publicly, return all copies of documents I'd taken, pay them $50,000 over 10 years, and in exchange, they'd forgive the rest of the debt, drop the lawsuit. $50,000, I said. That's still more than I can afford. You'll figure it out, my dad said. First words he'd spoken directly to me. You're so independent now, so determined to make it on your own. This is what that looks like. David, the mediator said. Let's keep this productive. My mom leaned forward. We're being generous. We could take you to court, get a judgment for the full amount, garnish your wages. We're giving you a way out that keeps me in debt for a decade. It's better than the alternative. Patricia touched my arm. Can we have a moment? We stepped outside the conference room, stood in the hallway. What do you think? She asked. I think $50,000 is still too much. It is, but it's also survivable. We can negotiate down from there, maybe get it to 30 or 35, set up a payment plan you can actually afford. And the NDA? I can't tell anyone what happened? Standard in these situations. They want to protect their reputation. So they get away with it, with everything they did. Legally, yes, but you get your freedom. No more fighting, no more legal bills. You move on with your life. I thought about it. About Colin. About the life I could have had if I'd been brave enough to choose him back then. About all the years I'd lost being what my parents wanted. I want to counter, I said. We went back inside. Patricia made our counter offer. $25,000, paid over 15 years. And the NDA would only apply to media and social media. I could still tell friends, future partners, therapists, just not publicly. My parents' lawyer frowned. 25 is too low. They've invested far more than that. Invested in what? Patricia asked. Their daughter? Or a business asset? The mediator intervened. Let's take a break. Give both parties time to consider. We separated into different rooms. I sat there, drinking terrible coffee from the office machine, trying to calculate $25,000 over 15 years. About $140 a month. I could maybe do that, between the grocery store and the diner, if I was careful, if nothing went wrong. Patricia came back after 20 minutes. They've agreed to $30,000, 10 years. That's their final offer, $250 a month. Yes, I did the math in my head. Both jobs together, I was making maybe $1,500 a month after taxes. Rent was $600. Food, utilities, bus passes. $250 was tight, really tight, but it was possible, if I was careful. if I didn't get sick, if nothing major broke. And the NDA? They've agreed to our terms. You can tell people privately. Just no public statements, no social media, no talking to press. I thought about that Facebook message. The person who'd helped me, who was still living their arranged marriage, they couldn't tell their story. They were still trapped. If I don't take this, we go to trial? Yes. And at trial, you might win. You might lose. It's a gamble. But trials are expensive. You'd rack up more legal bills. And if you lose, you could end up owing the full $300,000. What do you think I should do? I think you should take it. But it's your choice. I'll support whatever you decide. I sat there in that conference room. Terrible coffee. Fluorescent lights. My whole future being decided. $250 a month for 10 years. To be free of them? To move on? I'll take it, I said. We went back in. Signed papers. The mediator witnessed everything. Made it official. My parents didn't look happy. They'd wanted more. But they'd gotten something. As we were leaving, my mom stopped me in the hallway. Was it worth it? Destroying your family for this? I looked at her. This woman who'd raised me. Controlled me. Sold me. You destroyed this family a long time ago, I said. I just stopped pretending you didn't. I walked away. Didn't look back. Patricia walked me out to the bus stop. You okay? I don't know. 30,000 feels like a lot. It is a lot. But you can do this. And in 10 years, you'll be free. The bus came. I got on. Rode back to my neighborhood. Walked to my apartment. Sat on my weird-smelling couch. I'd done it. Made it through. I was in debt. Working 2 terrible jobs. Living in a bad apartment. But I was free. No more manipulation. No more control. No more being someone's investment strategy. I pulled out my phone. Looked at that Facebook message from the anonymous person. Typed a response. I settled today. I'm going to be okay. Thank you for giving me the push I needed. I hope someday you find your way out too. I sent it. Didn't know if they'd respond. Didn't really matter. I'd done it. For me. For the life I wanted instead of the life they'd planned. And that was enough. Update 2. 6 months after the mediation, I was sitting in the break room at the grocery store eating a sandwich I'd made at home because buying lunch was too expensive. Glenn came in to grab his energy drink from the fridge. Hey, got a second? He asked. Sure. You've been doing good work. Reliable. I'm promoting you to shift supervisor. I looked up. Seriously? $12 an hour. You'd handle closing shifts. Make sure everyone finishes their sections. Lock up. $12. 3 more than I was making. That was an extra $500 a month before taxes. Yes. Absolutely yes. You start next Monday. I called Patricia that night. Gave her the good news. She'd been monitoring my payments. Making sure I stayed on track. That's great, she said. With the extra income, you'll have more breathing room. Have you heard anything from them? Your parents? No. The agreement is holding. They're leaving you alone. Good. But part of me wondered. It had been too quiet. Too easy. I found out why the following Tuesday. I got a Facebook friend request from someone named Jennifer Castellano. Didn't recognize the name. Checked her profile. Mutual friends with my parents. One of their business associates' daughters, probably. I declined the request. Then I got a message from that same anonymous person who'd been checking on me. Jennifer works for your parents. She's trying to find out information about you. Don't accept. How do you know that? Because I know how they operate. They're not done with you. They're just being subtle. What should I do? Block her. Be careful about what you post. They're looking for a way to prove you violated the NDA. I blocked Jennifer immediately. Then went through my privacy settings. Made everything private. Removed tags from old photos. Cleaned up anything that could be used against me. The next few weeks, I was paranoid. Watching everyone at work. Wondering if someone was a plant. Sent to monitor me. But nothing happened. Life just continued. Work. Bills. Payments to my parents every month. $250 I transferred with my teeth gritted. Then I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Is this you? A male voice asked. Who is this? Colin, from high school. I sat down. Colin. Wow. Hi. Hey. I've been trying to find you for months. Your parents said you moved but wouldn't tell me where. Finally tracked down your number through your friend Michelle. Michelle. We'd been close in college. She was one of the few people who hadn't taken my parents' side. How are you? I asked. I'm good. Working at a studio. Doing sound design. It's not glamorous, but I love it. That's amazing. What about you? I heard some stuff. That you were engaged, but it fell apart? That's one way to put it. We talked for almost an hour. I gave him the basic version of what happened. He listened without judging. I always thought your parents were weird about stuff, he said. But I didn't know it was that bad. Neither did I. Not really. You should have stayed with me. We could have been poor together. I laughed. I think about that sometimes. Yeah? Yeah, I think I would have been happier. Silence on the line. Then Colin said, You want to get coffee sometime? Catch up properly? I'd like that. We met that Saturday at a place near my apartment. Not the fancy coffee shops I used to go to. Just a regular place with decent coffee and sticky tables. Colin looked the same. Maybe a little older. Still had that easy smile. Still wore band t-shirts. We talked for 3 hours. About everything. He told me about his work, the projects he was passionate about, the mistakes he'd made, the lessons he'd learned. I told him about my jobs, my terrible apartment, the legal stuff, the debt. "So you're paying them for the privilege of escaping," he said. "Basically. That's messed up. Yeah, but it's worth it. I get to make my own choices now. Even if your choices lead to a sketchy apartment and retail work, even then." He smiled. "You seem different. More real or something." I feel different. Like I'm actually living instead of performing. We started hanging out regularly. Nothing romantic. Just friends. But good friends. The kind who actually knew each other. He introduced me to his crowd. Other creative types who were doing what they loved instead of what paid well. Musicians, artists, photographers, people my parents would have hated. I loved them. 3 months after reconnecting with Colin, the diner offered me more shifts. I could work 5 days a week if I wanted. The money was good. I took it. Between both jobs, I was working about 60 hours a week. I was exhausted all the time. My feet hurt constantly. I had no social life, except for occasional coffee with Colin. But my bank account was growing. Slowly. Very slowly. But growing. I started thinking about the future. About what I wanted. Not what anyone else wanted for me. What I wanted. I made a list one night, sitting on my couch that still smelled weird but I'd gotten used to. Things I want. To go back to school. Study something I actually care about. To travel. See places I chose, not places my parents approved. To fall in love. Real love. Not arranged love. To help other people in situations like mine. That last one stuck with me. The anonymous person on Facebook had saved me. Maybe I could do that for someone else. I created a throwaway email account. Started a blog. Nothing with my real name. Just stories about coercion. About parental control. About finding freedom. I didn't talk about specifics. Didn't violate the NDA. Just shared general experiences. Feelings. Lessons learned. Within a month, I had followers. People who were going through similar things. People who needed to know they weren't alone. I started getting messages. People asking for advice. Sharing their stories. Looking for help. I answered everyone. Spent my limited free time researching resources. Connecting people with lawyers. Support groups. Other survivors. It felt good. Like I was making something positive from all the bad. Patricia called one day. "I have news. Your parents filed for bankruptcy." "What?" "The Riverside deal fell apart. Austin's family sued them. They lost almost everything." "How is that possible?" "They had so much." Turns out they'd leveraged everything on that deal. When it collapsed, it took them down with it. I didn't know how to feel. Part of me was satisfied. They'd destroyed themselves with their own greed. But part of me was sad. They were still my parents, even if they'd been terrible ones. What does this mean for my payments? Technically, you still owe them. The agreement stands regardless of their financial situation. So I'm paying them while they're bankrupt. Yes, though they might try to sell the debt to a collection agency, which could actually be better for you. Agencies usually settle for less than the full amount. A few weeks later, I got a letter. My debt had been sold to a collection agency. They were offering to settle for $15,000. I called Patricia. "Should I take it? Can you afford $15,000? If I empty my savings, which took me months to build up, it would free you 7 years early and save you $10,000 in total payments." I thought about it. 7 more years of monthly payments versus being done now. "I'll take it," I said. I paid them everything I had, every dollar I'd saved. My bank account went back to nearly zero, but I was free, really free. No more debt, no more payments, no more connection to my parents at all. I posted about it on my blog, anonymously, just sharing that I'd finally paid off the cost of my freedom. The response was overwhelming. Hundreds of comments, messages, people celebrating with me, sharing their own victories. One message stood out. From that anonymous Facebook person, "You did it. I'm so proud of you. You're an inspiration." "Are you still stuck?" I asked. "Yes, but seeing you make it out gives me hope. You already are. You just need to take the first step." Maybe. A year after the mediation, I enrolled in community college, part-time, taking classes between work shifts, psychology, counseling. I wanted to help people officially, not just through a blog. Colin came to my first day, brought me coffee, walked me to my class like we were in high school again. "Proud of you," he said. "For what?" "It's just community college. For doing this. On your own terms. That takes guts." He kissed my cheek and left. I stood there for a second, feeling something I hadn't felt since I broke up with him the first time. Maybe. Possibly. That night he texted me. "Want to get dinner? Like an actual date dinner? Is this Colin asking, or is this my parents setting something up?" I joked. "Just me. Being brave. Say yes." Yes. We went to this tiny Mexican place near his apartment. Nothing fancy. Just good food and good conversation. "I never stopped thinking about you," Colin said. "Even when you were engaged. I kept hoping you'd realize you were making a mistake." I did realize it. Just took me longer than it should have. Better late than never. We started dating. Actual dating. Not performing for anyone. Just two people who liked each other figuring it out. He met my terrible apartment and didn't care. I met his equally terrible apartment and we laughed about how bad they both were. We're living the dream, he joked. Broke and happy. Better than rich and miserable. Way better. 6 months into dating, I got a message from my mom. First contact since the mediation. I heard you're in school. I'm happy for you. I stared at it. Didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me wanted to respond with anger. I settled on simple. Thank you. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I want you to know I'm sorry. For everything. Your father and I are in therapy, trying to understand where we went wrong. Where you went wrong was treating me like property. I know, and I'm sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. I don't know if I can, but I appreciate you saying it. The conversation ended. I didn't hear from her again. I told Patricia about it. That's progress, she said. Even if it doesn't feel like it. It feels like too little too late. Maybe. I graduated from community college 2 years after starting. Colin was there. Patricia was there. Michelle was there. My chosen family. No one from my biological family? I hadn't invited them. That night, Colin took me out to celebrate. We went back to that Mexican place. Our place now. I have something for you, he said. He pulled out a small box. I froze. Before you panic, it's not what you think. Not yet, anyway. He opened it. Inside was a key. Key to my apartment, he said. Move in with me. We'll be broke together. But together. I took the key. Yes. Absolutely yes. Moving in with Colin was easy. We both had almost nothing. My weird-smelling couch. His decent bed. Mismatched dishes. But it worked. We worked different shifts. Passed each other in the mornings. Left notes. Made dinners when we could. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't what my parents would have wanted for me. But it was real. And it was mine. One night, about 3 months after moving in, I got another message from the anonymous Facebook person. I left. Finally. Used your blog as a roadmap. I'm scared, but I'm free. Oh my God. Are you okay? Do you need anything? I'm okay. Staying with a friend. Starting over. Just wanted to thank you for showing me it was possible. You did this, not me. I'm so proud of you. We should meet someday, when I'm more stable. I'd like that. They sent me their email. We started corresponding regularly. They shared their story. Different details, but same basic structure. Parents who'd planned their life. Marriage that was a business deal. Years of manipulation. They'd gotten out. It cost them. But they'd gotten out. I added their story to my blog. With permission. Anonymous. Still, but real. The blog kept growing. Became a resource. A community. People finding each other. Supporting each other. Helping each other escape. I got an email from a publisher. They'd found my blog. Wanted to know if I'd be interested in writing a book. A book? I asked Colin. About what? About this. About your story. About helping people. I don't know. The NDA. Talked to Patricia. I did. She read through the NDA carefully. You can write about your experiences generally. You just can't name names or share specific documents. As long as you change identifying details, you're legally protected. I thought about it. A book, my story, helping more people than I could reach with just the blog. I'll do it, I told the publisher. Writing the book took a year, working around my jobs, my classes, my life with Colin, but I finished it. Breaking Free, a guide to escaping family coercion. It published on a small press. Didn't make any bestseller lists, but it sold, steadily. People found it. People needed it. I started getting invitations to speak, at colleges, at support groups, small events, sharing my story, helping others. Colin came to every event, sat in the back, gave me encouraging smiles. You're changing lives, he said after one particularly emotional Q&A session. I'm just telling the truth. That's how you change lives. 3 years after leaving my parents, I got a call from an unknown number. Almost didn't answer, but I did. Is this you? A woman's voice asked. Who is this? Jennifer Castellano. We've never actually met, but I was hired by your parents to monitor you. I know. I wanted to apologize and to tell you that I quit. What they asked me to do was wrong. I should never have agreed. Why are you calling now? Because I read your book, and I realized my own parents do similar things. Maybe not as extreme, but similar. You helped me see that. We talked for a while. She told me her story. I shared resources. Thank you, she said before hanging up, for being brave enough to share this. That anonymous Facebook person finally told me their name, reached out via email, said they were ready to meet. We met at a coffee shop. They walked in. I recognized them immediately, even though we'd never met. They were someone I'd known casually in college, someone in my parents' social circle, someone who'd been at my engagement party. I was at your vow renewal too, they said. Watching you go through with it, knowing what I knew, what we were both trapped in. It killed me. So I sent you the USB drive. You saved me. You saved yourself. I just gave you information. Why didn't you tell me before? Because I wasn't brave enough. I thought if I helped you, that would be enough, that I could live vicariously through your escape. But you got out too. Eventually. Because you showed me how. We became friends. Real friends. Met regularly. Supported each other. Helped other people together. 4 years after leaving, Colin and I got engaged. Real engagement. His idea. My choice. Nothing fancy. Just us at home. Him asking. Me saying yes. No contracts? I joked. No business deals? No business deals. Just us. Being stupid and in love. Perfect. We got married at the courthouse. Tiny ceremony. Just our friends. Patricia came. She'd become more than a lawyer. An actual friend. My parents weren't invited. They sent a card anyway. We're happy for you. Love, Mom and Dad. I read it once. Put it away. Didn't respond. Maybe someday I'd be ready to talk to them. Maybe not. Either way was okay. 5 years after everything fell apart, I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. Started a master's program. Focused on family systems and coercion. I opened a practice. Part-time. Working with people escaping controlling families. Helping them find resources. Navigate legal systems. Build new lives. The work was hard. Emotional. Colin supported everything. Worked his audio engineering job. Contributed to bills. Made dinners. Listened when I needed to talk. We were still broke. Still struggling sometimes. Still figuring it out. But we were happy. Actually happy. Not performing happiness. Not happiness with conditions attached. Just real, messy, complicated, beautiful happiness. I updated my blog less frequently. Didn't have as much time, but I checked in. Read messages. Connected people with resources. The community kept growing without me. People helping each other. Sharing stories. Finding freedom. One message stood out. From someone new. Young. Scared. I just found out my parents have been planning my marriage since I was 15. I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. But your story gives me hope. Can you help me? I wrote back immediately. Yes, I can help. You're not alone. And you can get out. I promise. I sent them resources. Patricia's contact info. Links to other survivors. Everything I wished I'd had. They wrote back, "Thank you for being brave first, so the rest of us could follow." I showed Colin. "This is what it was all for," I said. "Worth it, every bit." 6 years after leaving, my parents reached out again. Asked if we could meet. Talk. I thought about it for weeks. Talked to Colin. To Patricia. To my therapist. Finally agreed. Coffee shop, public place. Exit strategies planned. They looked older. Tired. My dad's hair was grayer. My mom had wrinkles I didn't remember. "Thank you for meeting us," my mom said. "What do you want?" To apologize. Properly. We've been in therapy for years now. Working through everything. Understanding what we did wrong. And my dad cleared his throat. "We treated you like an investment. Not a daughter. We convinced ourselves it was love. That we were protecting you. But it was control. And it was wrong. Very wrong," my mom added. "We destroyed our relationship with you. Lost years we can't get back. Hurt you in ways we're still discovering. Why now? Why tell me this 6 years later?" "Because we weren't ready before," my dad said. "We needed time to actually understand. To change. We're not asking for forgiveness. We don't deserve that. We just wanted you to know that we know what we did. And we're sorry." I sat there looking at these two people who'd shaped my entire childhood. "For better and worse." "I appreciate you saying that," I said finally. "But I don't know if I can have a relationship with you. Too much happened. Too much hurt." "We understand," my mom said. "We just wanted you to know. We're proud of you. Of what you've built. Who you've become. Even though we had nothing to do with it. Especially because you had nothing to do with it." They both nodded. Accepted that. We finished our coffee. Said goodbye. I didn't know if I'd see them again. Didn't know if I wanted to. But at least it was honest. Finally honest. Colin picked me up after. "How'd it go?" "It went." They apologized. "How do you feel?" "I don't know. Relieved maybe? That they finally acknowledged it? That's something." "Yeah, it's something." We drove home. Our tiny apartment. Our chosen life. Our real love. I pulled out my laptop that night. Updated my blog one more time. To anyone reading this who's still trapped. Who's still living someone else's plan. Who's still scared to leave. You can do this. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable. You'll lose things. Money, family, security, plans. But you'll gain yourself. And that's worth everything. I promise you, from someone who's been there, freedom is worth the price. Every single time. Be brave. Take the first step. Ask for help. Build your own life. You deserve that. You deserve to be free. And you're not alone. We're here. All of us who've walked this path. Ready to help you walk yours. You've got this. I believe in you. I hit publish. Closed my laptop. Looked at Colin sleeping next to me. This was my life. The one I chose. The one I built. The one no one else controlled. And it was absolutely perfect.